History of Hatsune Miku. I will say, how did I am interested to know how Hatsune Miku like reached the level of fame that she has when none of the other Vocaloid characters have. Like, she is from Tokyo to the US, like just the biggest, like I feel like in terms of like watching anime and stuff. I have a lot of Miku figures. Like, okay, for Vocaloid specifically, I have played a little bit of it, but I'm not, like, obsessed with it. I just love the different variations of Miku. Like, there's so many different variations of Miku that I just, like, love, like, collecting the figures of it. Over here on my PC, I have this one. She sits on my PC. She's supposed to, like, hold down ramen, but I like her on my PC, it's cute. And then I have a figure case over here. I have this one. This one. She's very cute. That one's probably, I love the base of this one because it's like a little plate. If you couldn't tell, I love Cinema Roll. He's so cute. And I have this one, showing a little cinema roll. This stand is kind of plain, it's just her standing there, but this one's probably one of my favorite ones. Because this one also has cinema roll on it. I just love the different variations of Miku, because there's just so many, and it's like infinite. Like, I saw an Instagram video of these cosplayers, like, cosplaying different variations of Miku. I mean, you can go, like, you can do anything with Miku, dude. Just put the two little thingies in. You got a Miku, bro. There's like a barbarian Miku, like an alien Miku, a sleeping Miku. Like, there's just so much stuff that you can do.
Miku, right? Of course everyone knows her. She's a worldwide sensation and one of the most beloved fictional characters of all time. But how did she get to this point?
Oy. Bro.
Let's start from the very beginning. At the turn of the century, a little company known as Yamaha had an idea. If we can digitalize instruments, then why can't we digitalize voices too? And so their multi-million-dollar idea was in play. On February 3rd, 2003, Yamaha announced to the public that they were starting development for a project called Vocaloid. A little less than a year later, they released their very first Vocaloids, known as Leon and Lola. These Vocaloids were very different to the Vocaloids we know now, because they weren't marketed with the cute anime mascots that you're used to. Later that year, they released Mako, who was the first one to be actually marketed with the anime mascots that you're used to. Over the new year into 2005, Mako blows expectations out of the water and sells 3 times more units than the creators expected. This wasn't to say that Leon and Lola weren't a success though, because they brought huge attention to the Vocaloid project and even won awards. Fast forward another year to 2006, where they released Kaito, who was actually being developed alongside Mako, and this is important to Miku's story, I promise you. After Mako's success, the bar was set high for Kaito, but to the disappointment of his creators, Kaito only sold 1/6 the amount of units as Mako. This made the folks at the corporate office come to a realization. Now as we move along the timeline, I want to make a pit stop in the middle of 2007, where the Vocaloid known as Sweet Anne was released. She's pretty cute, right? Well, that's what she looked like only in this one part of the world. Everywhere else, she looked like this. That's not the cute anime girl we like. Motherfucker looks like she would be on the package of pancake mix. Yeah. Like Bro's probably best friends with Aunt Jemima or Little Debbie. I don't know why they decided to change directions with the art style when—
Well, it's probably because to market towards like American, I don't know.
Mako worked so well for them. By the way, this entire section about Sweet Anne has nothing to do with the story of Miku. I just thought it was funny that a Vocaloid looked more like an American food mascot rather than a cute singing anime mascot. While on the topic of introducing you to Vocaloids, I want to address a common misconception, or misunderstanding, which is that the Vocaloid characters are not the artists. The songs are created by real people who produce these songs and work really hard on them. The easiest way to think about it is by remembering that Vocaloids are just instruments, just like a guitar or piano, not a person. I see way too many people saying a song is by a Vocaloid, instead of giving proper credit to the person that actually put in all the work, which is the producer. Attributing a song to a Vocaloid character is like if you attributed Fir-Elise to piano. See? Doesn't make much sense, does it? These characters are only there to be promotional mascots for the voice banks, and nothing else. On August 31st, 2007, Hatsune Miku is released to the public. She instantly blows up and sells over 3,000 units in just 1 week.
Dang.
To put into perspective how much of a success she was, Kaito sold 500 units in 1 year, Meiko sold 3,000 units in 1 year, and Miku sold nearly both of them
Rip
combined
Kaito,
in just
bro.
1 week. If my math is correct, then that means Miku sold 3,000 units over 5,000 times faster than Meiko and Kaito combined.
Oh my
This number
god.
steadily grew, and by the middle of next year, she had sold over 40,000 copies. And so they did it. Yamaha perfectly executed their multi-million yen plan, and all it took was to make cute anime girls, but with unnatural colored hair this time. Hatsune Miku was voiced by the wonderful Saki Fujita, who coincidentally is 39 years old at the time of this video coming out. And in case you don't know, the number 39 is the number most associated with Miku, because the number 3 in Japanese can be read as Mi, and the number 9 can be read as Ku. So
Miku.
it sounds like her first name, Miku.
Miku.
And coincidentally, it's actually the same year that Miku turned 16 years old, which is her officially stated age. But anyways, let's get back on track. Now that you know Miku's origins, let's get into what the video is actually about. Miku's impact on internet culture. The very first video with Hatsune Miku I could find was this Nico Nico Doga video, uploaded by the user Komudo Koa, 3 days before the release of Miku.
Wow.
Miku was capable of, and presumably it came from
Fire.
an official promotional website, because when looking at Koa's other videos, it seems like they have no affiliation with any companies themselves. Like here's a clip of them getting brutally attacked by a potato.
Oh no.
Now, although I say that the demo video definitely came from somewhere else, I can't actually find where it came from. But it's a given thing, seeing how this is 17 years old, and things on the internet are extremely hard to dig up
Yeah.
from that long ago, since no one was really thinking about archiving anything back then. But we can assume it came from an official promotion promoting Miku's release. For the next few days after Miku's release, Nico Nico was filled with users creating their own simple cover songs with Miku. On September 4th, a Nico Nico user created this, the very first Miku meme, involving Miku replacing a character spinning a leak from an already existing internet meme at the time. This chibi form of Miku later became its own character known as Hatsune Miku. This video I'm pretty sure is long gone nowadays because I can't seem to find the original, but the oldest surviving one I can find is this one from just 3 days after the original Nico Nico upload on
That's
YouTube.
so
This would
funny.
be a turning point in Miku's popularity because it marks one of Miku's most iconic symbols, which would later be synonymous with
Her
the character
leaks.
and perception in pop culture for the rest of time. This small meme developed Miku's character in future memes and built her personality and character, something so iconic that it even gets referenced in official media and merchandise to this day, and that is her leak. Well, actually it's a spring onion, but most people have called it a leak, and it does look more like a leak than a spring onion, so we can just brush that under the rug. The popularity of this leak would also lead fans to assigning a specific character item for every future Vocaloid. On September 7, 2007, a producer-songwriter by the name of Ryo, once known as the greatest producer on Nico Nico Doga, who would later go on to create the most iconic Vocaloid song in history, uploads his song by the name of Melt. And on a side note, I can never pronounce his name. Like, it's just one letter off of my
Ryo.
own name, but for some
Ryo.
reason it's so incredibly hard for me to say.
Ryo?
But anyways, I actually have never heard this song
Ryo?
before researching this video,
Ryo.
but it is the third most viewed Vocaloid song
Ryo.
on the entire Nico Nico site,
Dang.
behind Zenbon Zakura and Miku Miku Nishite Ageru. This could be due to the fact that re-uploads of it on YouTube didn't receive nearly as many views as other songs did, and in fact the most viewed re-upload to YouTube didn't even get half as many views as the original, where other songs got tens of millions of views. So for this reason, this song probably didn't get as much recognition in the global community. Even though it didn't go viral in the West, it did in Japan, being the first ever Miku song to do so. On the 24th of February 2008, a program known as Miku Miku Dance was released to the public.
That's when I was
Miku
born.
Miku Dance, or MMD for short, is a free 3D animation program programmed by Yu Higuchi to promote Vocaloid to the public. It allows users to import a 3D model and animate it doing anything the user wishes. There's
Dang.
anything from characters dancing to songs, random skits, porn, and really anything that you can think of. Because of the software's free to use nature and the fact that you can do basically anything with it, it had a huge boom in popularity with people making all kinds of entertaining content and producers using it for music videos to their
Oh, so
songs.
it's like free advertisement, basically. Other people doing the work for you, and you just
MMD
Yeah.
also isn't limited to just Vocaloid content, so it spreads exponentially outside the Vocaloid sphere. If you were an anime fan in the late 2000s or early 2010s, then there's a 0% chance that you've never seen at least one video made with MMD. Moving forward, most videos you'll see in the fandom at the time were either hand-drawn animations or MMD animations. Now let's take a little detour into the world of Utao. Utao is basically a parallel to what Vocaloid is, in that it's a voice synthesizer application, but unlike Vocaloid, it's all community built. It's developed by one person called Ameya. Instead of professionally being developed, the voice banks are made by random people. And from what I can see, you can just go and make yourself into a voice bank too. And enter Utaoloids, who are character mascots for the voice banks just like Vocaloid. And naturally, with cute anime mascots comes fans. This brings us to April 1st, 2008, where an April Fool's announcement about a new Vocaloid gets made, named Kasane Teto. She was designed by the artist Sen, and if you just look at her design, it's pretty easy to see that she was an obvious parody of Miku.
Yeah,
she has the twin
'cause
tails,
she has
although in a drill
the-
style, and she wears the exact same
has
outfit,
that
but just
belt too.
recolored. There's a lot of popular Utaoloids you'll see intertwined with the Vocaloid fandom, including the aforementioned Teto, and Momo, Ruko, Tei, and many more. These characters would become a big part of the growing Vocaloid community, showing up in music videos, animations, and eventually later down the line, getting their own officially licensed merch.
Wow.
On the topic of community-created characters, we also have fanloids. Fanloids are fan-created characters for already pre-existing voice banks instead of Utao's original voice banks.
Emo
They usually
Miku.
come from pitching a voice bank to a higher or lower pitch. Just like Utaoloids, these characters would grow massively popular in the community. A lot of these characters were also just memified versions of Vocaloids, like Hatsune Miku, which we talked about earlier. Other fanloids include Neru, Mikudayo, Shiteyanyo, Mikuo. I could keep going, but there's basically an endless amount. And this is all important information we'll come back to later on.
Biggest Miku.
Next, we move on to arguably the most influential and famous Vocaloid song of all time. World Is Mine is a song by Ryo, along with his band Supercell. No, not that Supercell. The band Supercell is notable for making tons of huge Vocaloid songs. This song absolutely blew up with over 10 million views on Nico Nico, and re-uploads of it on YouTube got upwards of 20 to 60 million views. This song brought tons of overseas fans into the fandom, and is basically the song a lot of people think of when they think of Vocaloid. Or at least that's the case for me. I can't actually read people's thoughts.
Hello YouTube, hello. I just wanted to say if you watched this far in the video, I really appreciate you. And if you want to subscribe, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. But I also wanted to come on here and say that I do have a Twitch. The days are kind of inconsistent when I stream, but I do stream usually from 12 till like 4 p.m. My time, Eastern time. So if you want to check me out, that'd be awesome. I also have like 0 followers, so if you want to follow me on Twitch, that would also be really cool. But yeah, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I'll also have it linked down in the description if you want to go check me out. I do reacts on there, and I play video games. The video games I don't really edit and post on YouTube. So if you wanted to catch those live, that would be awesome. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks.
A few months later, a song by the name of Triple Baka was released by producer Lamaz P, accompanied by this music video. The music video shows the fanloid Aika Neru and Utao Kasane Teto, who were also used in the song, along with Hatsune Miku. Since this song went viral at the time, it boosted the popularity of the community-made characters, and they were picked up by more fans. The same year, Ryo released the popularity of the community.
And no! Whoa! That's crazy. I can read it. What is this, bro?
Made characters, and they were picked up by more fans. The same year, Ryo released another insanely impactful song titled Black Rock Shooter that was based on the original illustration by the artist Fuke. The song was so popular, in fact, that it led to Black Rock Shooter getting a game, an anime, and a lot more media. I'm not gonna spend too much time focusing on Black Rock Shooter though, because it doesn't really have much to do with Miku herself. But I still think that it's cool that an entire multimedia franchise was spawned from just one character design and a Hatsune Miku song, even if the anime is apparently shit. The same person who made Triple Baka, that just consists of Miku singing and encouraging you to drink vegetable juice, paired with a music video consisting of just 2 frames of Miku doing the silly little dance. These 2 frames of Hatsune Miku dancing would set off one of the biggest trends on Nico Nico in the following months. Nico Nico users would create loads of videos of themselves doing the dance themselves, making mad videos, and just all around having fun with it. Man, I miss when internet trends back in the day were just harmless fun instead of stuff like this. The dance trend, though, could have been inspired by a different dance trend that emerged a month prior called Gedan, which was started and popularized by the one and only Lamaze. Gedan is actually one of, if not the biggest Japanese internet trends to ever exist, and it just consists of a subject flashing frames of themselves in various poses to the song Promise by Komi Hirose. After Popiball blew up, the Vocaloid fandom was in full swing at this point, and there was even a huge fanbase outside of the internet, going to some of the first Miku concerts at this time. It's probably a good time to mention the other massively popular Vocaloids too, since you'll be seeing them a lot going forward. These include ones we've mentioned before, like Miku, Kaito, and Miko, and other popular ones like Rin, Len, Gakupo, and Luca. There's way more, but these are just the most popular at the time.
I don't know about these 2.
The only notable event in 2009 I can think of is the release of Hatsune Miku's first video game by the name of Hatsune Miku Project Diva. Obviously, this spread Vocaloid and Miku's popularity even more, like basically everything in this video, but instead of dominating the internet, they branched out to gamers. Hatsune Miku Project Diva is the first of many games in the series by the same name, developed by Sega and Krypton Future Media. The game was never released outside of Japan, but it sold pretty well, at just over 100,000 copies, and it was so well received that it allowed the game
that looks like the Vocaloid game
to become an entire series of games, which are still being made, with the newest one being Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix Plus, which was released in mid-2022. Obviously, every new game would get worldwide releases, and outside the original. These games would also lead to the eventual release of Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage, also
that's the one that I played,
known as Project Sekai at the beginning of this decade, which kind of brought on a new wave of fans after the Vocaloid fandom kind of died down a bit in the late 2010s. But we're here to talk about the early days of Miku, not current events. Some of the games would include Fanloids, Utaloids, and other fan-made staples of the Vocaloid community at the time. It's really cool to see official products acknowledge what helped their franchise get there in the first place. This would also happen in official merchandise too. For example, Miku's Nendoroids getting Hatsune Miku, and leak references Kasane Teto getting her own Nendoroid, and a Fanloid called Kane CA getting multiple licensed figures.
Dang, those look sick.
Shite Yano is a fan-made character by an artist named Ryusei, created on February 2nd, 2010, and it's incredibly cursed. It's Miku, but she has no body and her pigtails act like her legs. Yeah, this thing is pretty weird, but apparently it's based off the lyrics of the song Miku Miku Nishite Ageru. There were actually versions of Vocaloids that were really similar to Shite Yano, where Miku and other Vocaloids had their hair and accessories turned into feet, but the one made by Ryusei was the one that blew up and became a meme. The title of the original artwork was named Miku Miku Nishite Yanyo. The commenter shortly after its posting called the character just simply Shite Yanyo. Shite Yanyo means Shite Ageru, which in English just means to do for someone. Some things that boosted Shite Yanyo's popularity right from the beginning is when a 3D artist by the name of Dano created a 3D animation of Shite Yanyo walking. Dano is mostly known for their creation by the name of Kane CA, a creepy mechanical version of Miku that I briefly mentioned earlier. I'm going to assume that Dano already had this made and just uploaded it because they saw the rising popularity of Ryusei's Shite Yanyo, because it resembles the old version of it rather than Ryusei's Shite Yanyo, and the fact that they uploaded it less than 4 hours after Ryusei's upload. A few days later, Dano posted a drawing competition on Pixiv that challenged ususers to draw Shite Yanyo in any way they please. I'm assuming that Dano created this competition because they just really liked Shite Yanyo and wanted it to become popular or something. I couldn't find any confirmation on actually why, but this competition blew up and got thousands of submissions, which boosted its popularity so much that Krypton Future Media officially licensed it and started selling merchandise of Shite Yanyo. Around the same time, Shite Yanyo would start getting traction on Nico Nico, where people would make MMD animations and other meme videos. Shite Yanyo would also start gaining traction in the Western internet about a year later, with fans making fan art and posting it to predominantly English websites, such as Tumblr, DeviantArt, and other popular websites at the time. Obviously, a lot of the Nico Nico content
That's so scary.
would inspire or get directly uploaded to YouTube, which really helped spread Shite Yanyo's popularity.
Stop
With its massive
showing
popularity,
this.
Shite Yanyo would also spread to other fandoms, leading to artists creating Shite Yanyo inspired artworks of their favorite characters. Next, we have one of, if not the biggest impact to the internet that Hatsune Miku directly or indirectly caused. Now I want you to think of a meme. Any meme. That's right. But why would you think of Skibbity Toilet, dumbass? Try again, but think of one of the biggest memes of all time. We have the likes of Rage Comics, Doge, Nyan Cat, MLG, and Advice Animals. Now, which of these do you think originated from Hatsune Miku? That's right, none of them. I'm joking. It was actually Nyan Cat. On July 27th, 2010, Vocaloid producer Donnie Well posted a song onto Nico Nico by the name of Nya 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 Nya. That's 7 yaws, by the way. And in English, this title just means meow 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 meow. Believe it or not, every single lyric in the song is just the word nya, which was stated by the creator themselves. This song performed decently well when it was released, but it never took the internet by storm immediately, like some of the other things in this video. Though it did have a lot.
That was Nyan Cat? That's crazy.
Of covers on Nico Nico and YouTube. This is also around the time that YouTube started getting more popular in Japan, so more Japanese internet memes started to leak out into the international internet.
Cause like someone just drew like the Nyan Cat, and then I guess they just looked for like meow meow, and that was the song. That's
now
insane.
If you actually listen to the original song by Donnie Well, you'll immediately notice that something's off.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
That's because the original version is not the version that became a meme. This title would be held by the version of Nya 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 that was sung by the Vocaloid Momo Momone. Unfortunately, I can't find exactly when this one released, other than a YouTube version from Donnie Well themselves, which was released in December of 2011. Fast forwarding from the song's creation almost a year to April 2011, a now infamous GIF, not GIF, was posted onto the site lolcomics, a site for the artist PR Guitar Man to upload his art. Since PR Guitar Man had a sizable following at that time, the cat GIF gained a lot of popularity on multiple websites. A YouTube user by the name of Sarah June with the Momo version of Nya 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 over it. And the rest is history. Well, actually a pretty bad history because it got sold as an NFT a few years ago and the video got privated.
Yeah.
Now, what was the original creator of this song's reaction to their song getting the success that it did? Well, over the years, they made different remixes of the Nya 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 Nya, and I'm assuming that they got some kind of royalties from how big the meme got. Nowadays, they still rep the Nyan Cat stuff in their social medias, but sadly they barely got any recognition from the meme itself. You can probably find real-time tweets of their reaction to the meme on their Twitter from the time that it was blowing up too. Very recently, in February 2024, Donnie Well actually collaborated with McDonald's to release a Nya 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 remix for an ad for their ongoing anime-styled campaign. I guess the last thing I want to say in this section is go support Donnie Well for them getting mostly unrecognized for their work.
What is happening?
Mikudayo is one of the most popular famoids, who is apparently officially 8 years old. Mikudayo originates from a mascot costume created by Good Smile Company to advertise Sega's new 3DS game, Hatsune Miku and the Future Stars, Project Mirai, for a video game convention called Tokyo Game Show 2011. This costume was supposed to be a life-size version of the Hatsune Miku Nendoroid that was released a year prior, but after many fans saw the costume online, they noticed that it looked a bit funky compared to the original Nendoroid. This costume would quickly become the subject of mockery on 2chan and other popular Japanese websites at the time for being a silly, deformed-looking mascot. Internet users made a lot of photo collages, which were kind of the Japanese internet versions of image memes at the time. Originally, the costume was called Kigurumiku, which is a pun on the word Kigurumi, which just means mascot costume in Japanese. Eventually, the name Mikudayo was more popular with the fans, and by February of the next year, it became the unofficial name. In the following months, the name Mikudayo would become pseudo-officially recognized, after members of Sega staff would refer to her by the name. Slowly, Mikudayo would be officially recognized and get merchandise and be used in more advertising. And apparently, Mikudayo is considered evil by the fans, and funnily enough, Kaone CA is the nice one, despite both of their looks saying otherwise.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott, president of Domino's Pizza. Have you heard of Hatsune Miku? Today,
For our last topic, we're going to
I run Domino's. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Hatsune Miku?
talk about Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku.
what?
On March 6, 2013, Domino's Japan released their app in collaboration with Hatsune Miku, known as Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku. They promoted this collaboration by releasing a YouTube video featuring Scott, president
so
of Domino's
funny.
Pizza. And don't ask me why the CEO of Domino's Pizza Japan is an American guy, because I don't know. This video became very popular, gaining almost 2 million views across YouTube and Nico Nico. One of the main things they were promoting, the limited edition Miku-themed pizza boxes sold out across the entire country in only 6 days. These pizza boxes could be used with the Domino's app to create a live augmented reality performance of Miku.
Oh, that's
this
so
was peak
cool.
technology back in 2013. Shortly after the release of the video, Western internet users on a small site called YouTube found the video and started memeing the shit out of it. These users found Scott's formal, but noticeably awkward way of presenting with his Miku-colored tie very humorous, so they decided to make it the next big victim of YouTube poops. Even a lot of Western news sites at the time would make fun of this ad for being too goofy or too unhinged. But the Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku never became more than just a source for funny YouTube poops and limited edition pizza boxes. You really thought that I included this meme just because of that? You silly viewer. 5 years after the success of this advertisement, it was largely forgotten as most internet memes are, but a YouTuber by the name of Nick Robinson gave a whole new audience to this legendary piece of media. Nick starts off his video by stating, quote, "For years, I have considered it my favorite YouTube video of all time.
Dang.
But one thing was awry. The video was gone. This one commercial that provided happiness for both Miku and Domino's fans alike had vanished." Nick continues his video, searching for what could have possibly happened to the video. At the end of his treacherous journey to and from Japan, he finally figured it out. Scott Olkers, president of Domino's Pizza Japan, the main character of the video, had retired as CEO of Domino's Japan. But that wasn't the end of Nick's Hatsune Miku Domino's journey. It was just the beginning. Sure, this video was memed all over the internet, but remember what it was originally trying to advertise? That's right, the app. Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku, along with every other 32-bit app, was shut down with the release of iOS 11 in 2017. Now I'm going to give you an extremely brief summary of his next videos because I want you to go watch the 4-part video series for yourself, because I don't want to take any views away from Nick, since he was the one to spearhead and put all of his effort into this. Nick, along with other internet preservationists, decided they wanted the app back. And it was actually pretty simple. Nick just had to buy an old iPhone and re-download the app, since he already had it from downloading it when it came out. He, along with a couple other people, decided to share the files of the app, so now you can go download and experience it for yourself, if you have an iPhone that supports 32-bit apps, that is.
Dang.
However, just figuring out why the video was taken down and recovering the app wasn't enough. Something else was on his bucket list. Something that's been on his mind since before he even made the first YouTube videos. He wanted to meet Scott. After years of trying to find ways to get in contact with him, he finally got a lead, and a really convenient and significant one too. Scott, now former president of Domino's Pizza Japan's son, Mark, reached out to Nick. After a bit of chatting, Mark agrees to get interviewed by Nick about his father. One of the funniest things that comes from this interview is that Mark reveals that Scott has actually been working with Domino's in Asia since the 90s and has been featuring in Domino's commercials for a very long time, and with him speaking some pretty good Mandarin Chinese.
Barbecue 009pizza 餐，只要399，打没了，打了没？2宝宝2，我2我2。
After this interview, Nick was happy, but not entirely satisfied. He had finally secured an interview with Scott. If you want to see everything from the interview, I implore you to go watch Nick's video, which I'll leave in the description, but I did want to share some cool highlights from the interview. Firstly, Scott is apparently fluent in Mandarin Chinese, and in the late 90s, he was one of the most recognized foreigners in all of Taiwan.
Wow.
And secondly, the goofy and awkward gestures in the Miku ad were all planned from the start and part of the script. And that's it. You made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching to the end.
That was such a funny... That's so funny.